Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and yes, I am alive. I know that I haven't been making any videos really at all this week. I just needed a week off, guys. I really did. I had a lot to do, and I just needed a week off. But in that time, I saw two movies, and I did watch most of the TV shows that I will be reviewing. There are a few that I didn't watch, but for the most part, I watched most of them. The weekend's pretty much just going to be catch-up reviews for everything for me, so if you guys are wondering where my reviews are, they're not gone. I just haven't had any time this weekend. That's really what it was. But like I said, in that time, I was able to see two movies, which I will be reviewing in this video. The first one I saw last night, and that movie we're reviewing is, without a doubt, one of the most anticipated movies probably for the entire year, honestly. I was really looking forward to this movie. I mean, it really just looked like a really great movie, and especially when you air in February, when things usually aren't coming out that aren't that great. I really was thinking it was going to be like a Kingsman, where it's actually really good. It's a lot better than it should have been, and that movie is Hail Caesar. I could not wait for this movie. I was counting the days till it came out. It looked really funny. It looked very much like the Coen brothers. Obviously, I love the Coen brothers. You guys know how much I love Fargo and things like that, but I was definitely really looking forward to this movie. Also, of course, the cast and everything. Definitely, I was really looking forward to it. And overall, after seeing Hail Caesar, what did I think of it? Hail Caesar is definitely very different than what I thought it was going to be. I will definitely say that. But I can't really say that it disappointed me because I still, for the most part, really did enjoy it. And I'm not going to say it disappointed me because, in my opinion, when you say a movie disappointed you, it's because of the fact that it wasn't as good as you thought it was going to be. Now, was Hail Caesar a masterpiece? No, I don't think it's a masterpiece. I do think it has some problems here and there. Definitely, it's not a perfect movie, but in my opinion, I think it very much is much better than people are saying it is. I don't think it deserves all of the negative criticism it's getting, and I think the reason it's getting so much negative stuff is because they made the movie look a lot different than it is, and I'll talk about that. But let's get to the main plot of Hail Caesar, which if you guys see in the trailer, you pretty much know what the plot is. Basically, we focus on Eddie Mannix, who was a real person. I don't know if many people have said that, but Eddie Mannix was in fact a real person. He is basically a fixer. He's someone who makes sure that pictures get done on time and that whatever the actors are going through, internally, externally, he helps them through it, and basically uh, now they're trying to make this movie Hail Caesar. They want one of the big stars at the time, Bear Whitlock, to star in it. Bear Whitlock ends up getting very drunk and basically passes out, and the next thing we know, he is kidnapped for unknown reasons, and basically Eddie Mannix has to find out what happened to him and make sure that Hail Caesar actually gets made. And there are other things going on, but that's basically the basic plot of Hail Caesar. And there's definitely more to this movie than that, but if you really want like a basic synopsis, that's really what it's about. And overall, guys, like I said, I really did enjoy this movie. The one thing I think this movie really has going for him, one of the things I know we were all looking forward to, is the cast here. All of the cast, I really think, give really good performances. I think they all did a very good job. I really thought everyone was very good in this movie, and I don't really think there was anyone that was really bad. I'll say that. I think everyone, for the most part, really did a great job. The star by far of this movie, without a doubt, is Josh Brolin as Eddie Mannix. I mean, he really was incredible. First of all, I didn't expect Eddie Mannix to be as deep as a character as he really is. He's a lot deeper than we think. This is a man that is going through a lot of stuff in his personal life. I mean, he's really a fixer for himself as well, and I really found that to be very interesting for his character. He has smoking addiction. He is so dedicated to, these pictures. He wants to make them get made. He wants to do whatever he can to make sure they get out, and he's very dedicated when it comes to these movies, to the point where he never comes home anymore. And it actually, I thought, was a very interesting arc for him, and I think he did a really great job. He has this one scene in the third half of the movie. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I was almost in tears. I think he really sold it. He really did a great job, and Josh Brolin, I really think, killed in this movie. My biggest problem, though, is besides Eddie Mannix, the other characters in this movie are definitely not as developed. There's not a single character that is as developed as Eddie Mannix is. Either they're in the movie a lot and they're not really developed, or they're barely in the movie at all, and I'll talk about this. George Clooney, let's talk about George Clooney. I was really looking forward to George Clooney being in this movie. Unfortunately, I really didn't think he was given enough to do, really. I mean, most of the movie, he's kidnapped, and we don't really see a lot of him. We see him here and there, but I don't really think Bear Whitlock really was much of a character, rather than he was kind of a caricature. They were kind of trying to do like the leading man, like say Kirk Douglas, or like who was the star of Ben-Hur? You know, someone like that. That's clearly what they were trying to do, like a big star and something like that, who just, and I don't really think he got much of a character here. I really wanted to see more of his character, and I think George Clooney did a good job what he had, and it's clear he's having fun in the role. I just really wanted to see more from his character, and I don't really think we got that. So, unfortunately, George Clooney, I think, definitely not underused, just not really given, I think, what he should have been given in this movie. Who really surprised me, though, and who I think honestly stole the show, was Alden Ehrenreich as Hobie Doyle. This guy is awesome. Now, at first, I hadn't heard the name, but then I looked it up. This is actually the guy from Beautiful Creatures. If you remember that movie, Beautiful Creatures, he was the main star. He was actually really good in that movie. I remember actually saying, this guy is going to go really far, and now he's in a Coen Brothers movie, and damn did he just knock it out of the park. He's so good in this movie. I absolutely loved his character. This is basically, let me just try to explain his character to you. This is basically if you were to take Clint Eastwood, and they did do this in real life, like take someone like Clint Eastwood, who is this huge Western star, very famous in like spaghetti westerns, things like that, and then put him in like a musical, which did actually happen. The difference is that Hobie Doyle is trying to be put in this dramatic role. He clearly cannot act for shit because it's not something that he's used to, and I think he just did it perfectly. He was so funny in this movie, and I think actually ended up being the real hero. I mean, they do some really cool things with his character. He was so funny, and I really think he was having the most fun out of everyone. I really think Alden Ehrenreich really did a great job. If you guys have seen that scene from the trailer where he's just trying to say the line, "Wouldn't it were so simple," you know how funny he is. He, I think, really is going to go far, and if you haven't heard the name Alden Ehrenreich yet, you definitely will after this movie. I really think he has a very bright future ahead, and I can't wait to see what else he does, because he was great here. Ray Fiennes, I don't think that he was necessarily underused because he's only in 2 scenes, but again, not really much of a character. He's just this film director that is very frustrated with Hobie Doyle, doesn't think that Hobie Doyle's right for his movie. Then he kind of just goes away, but he's very funny in the scenes that he's in. I think he did a very good job, but again, not really used a lot. Let's talk about Scarlett Johansson. I was really looking forward to seeing Scarlett Johansson in this movie. I think that she's a very good actress, and I was definitely looking forward to seeing how she was going to do here. And she has about, I don't know, 10 minutes of screen time. Really, 10 minutes of screen time. And most of her screen time is around this, like, scene parodying, well, not really parodying, but kind of tributing, Esther Williams, like, Under the Sea musicals. That's most of what her character is, and they set up an arc of their character, and then it just goes away, and because of that, I don't think that Scarlett Johansson did a bad job. It's just, I can't get attached to her character because they set up a plot, and then it just goes away. I'm not kidding you guys. You think there's gonna be some other character, she just goes away until she's no more used to Eddie Mannix, and that's my biggest problem here, is that every character, they kind of just go away because they're no use to Eddie Mannix, and I get the movie's supposed to be revolved around Eddie Mannix, but I felt no closure with her character. She just went away after this one scene. I really just wanted one more scene with her, and we really didn't get it, and I think she did a good job. She's just barely in the movie, so I can't really say she was good or not, because like I said, she was barely in this movie, so unfortunately, I can't really say anything about her. Till the one problem I had here, definitely, that I was definitely upset with, is because of the fact that some of these characters are underused. Then you have someone like Tilda Swinton, who's used a lot in this movie. I wasn't a fan of her. I really wasn't. I think Tilda Swinton, for me, gave the worst performance in this movie. I don't think she was bad, necessarily. I think she was good. I think she did a good job overall, but it's just her character overall, Thora Thacker and Thessaly Thacker, which, yes, I do think it's very funny how they make fun of their names and things like that. That's very Coen Brothers-esque play on words. They've always done things like that. And I get that they're trying to do, like, gossip columnists and things like that, but it didn't really work for me. I was not a fan of their characters. I thought they were used way too much, and I feel like they could have been the characters that were underused, because I never never really got attached to them. I didn't find them that funny, and I really wasn't that big of a fan of them. There are some fun jokes with them here and there, but most of them are funny because of what the other character, interactions are doing with them. It really isn't the characters that are funny, it's more the character interactions. So I didn't really find their characters that funny. I wanted to find their characters funny, but I didn't really get into their characters, I have to say. Um, Channing Tatum in this movie was one of the characters I was most looking forward to, and let me just say, he definitely is one of the best scenes in the movie. I think he did a great job in his musical number. They're definitely trying to be like a Gene Kelly, who, if you guys know, I am a huge fan of Gene Kelly. I mean, I could go on and on about that guy. He is just, I think, one of the most talented people to ever live, honestly. He is incredible. He really is, and I don't think anyone has ever outdanced Gene Kelly. Really, they haven't. But I think Channing Tatum really shined there. And if you guys didn't think that Channing Tatum, can't do it all, you are wrong, because when you hear him sing in this movie, I was shocked at how good he can sing. And now he has a movie coming up with Joseph Gordon-Levitt that's going to be a musical comedy. I mean, he really is trying to branch out. I really do love seeing that. My biggest problem with Channing Tatum is when, a twist is revealed with his character. For me, it ruined his character, and I was no longer into his character, and I really found it quite stupid, actually, and I was very upset with it. I was like, really? You had to do that with his character? I really felt they could have gone in a very different direction with him, but overall, I thought he did a really good job in the scenes that he had. Jonah Hill and Frances McDormand, though, while Jonah Hill's on the poster, he has one scene in this movie, and it's not even 5 minutes. It's, I'd say, 3 minutes, and his character isn't very memorable, and I felt anyone could have played him, so I don't even know why he's on the poster of this movie. He's not that important. Don't get me wrong, he does serve importance in the movie, but he's in literally one scene. Frances McDormand, though, I don't think she was underused at all. I think they perfectly made use of her. She is the film editor, and she, without a doubt, has one of the funniest scenes in the movie. I mean, I was just rolling around in my chair at her scene. She was so funny, and I was fine that she had one scene because it perfectly showed everything we need to see of her character, how stressful of a job she has. I mean, just everything about her was so funny, and I think she did a great job. So overall, I thought the cast here was very good. I was definitely a fan of them, and I definitely really did like where all the characters went. Let's talk about the directing here. The directing, surprisingly, is actually a problem because it's the Coen brothers. You really think, okay, they have their style down. I don't really think they did, guys. I really don't. I feel like some of their other movies, I've said it before, they really do, something they do great with is dark humor in serious situations. They don't necessarily do that here. What they try to do here is at some points not have you take anything seriously whatsoever, but then they try to do these things where they do want you to take it seriously, and it just didn't work for me. The tone got very jumbled, and I was really trying to figure out what they were trying to do with this movie. And because that, I think it's really a movie that I'm going to need to rewatch and go back to a few times to really decipher what the message is here, because I know there's something more going on here. I've heard things here and there. I don't necessarily believe them because some of the things that happen in the movie, and I definitely want to draw my own conclusions for it. And my rating does not have anything to do with that. I'm going to say that right now. My rating is not because I didn't understand this movie. I'm going to say that right now. And I do feel that if I were to see this movie again, I possibly might consider raising the grade. I will definitely saying that. But I just felt their directing was honestly very jumbled. I was not a fan of it. The screenplay, though, I thought was, for the most part, really good here. The first two halves of this movie are really great. You got really sharp dialogue, and you actually have this really interesting conflict. The problem is they didn't really do anything with it. They set up this really interesting conflict of, this is the last decade of movies, and we need to put out the best pictures because TV is going to take over, and we don't know if movies are going to be as popular. That's a really interesting conflict. There's a lot you can do with that, but that's literally one conversation in the movie, and they don't really go anywhere with it. My other problem with Hail Caesar is the fact that when it's eventually revealed what the future is, I really didn't buy it, and I don't really know what they were trying to do with it. I mean, when they introduced it, I'm like, really? That's what you did? The future, I think, could have been a lot more interesting, and it really just felt like, oh, it went with the time period, so that's what we did. It really felt like a cop-out to me. It really just seemed like the Coen brothers just wanted to put in something, they knew they had to get out some sort of twist, so they just put it in. It really did not work for me, and I was very disappointed with that. I really wanted a more interesting reveal, and we really didn't get that. And I have to say, the ending of this movie is severely rushed, definitely severely rushed, and that was definitely something that I was not a fan of. But there are some hilarious scenes in this movie. Let me just say that right now. This movie is very, very funny. You have not seen all the funny scenes in the trailer. There are some scenes in this movie that I think are some of the greatest scenes the Coen brothers have ever done. I really do. Especially one scene where Eddie Mannix is trying to get approval from a rabbi, a priest, a reverend, to make sure that he can do this movie, Hail Caesar. It's hilarious. One of the funniest scenes in the movie. But something else I really loved were some of the best scenes, without a doubt, are the scenes of, seeing these movies. You know, we actually do get to see these movies, and I think there could be the person that says, oh, they take away from the story, but they don't. These are the characters' lives. These are what they do on a day-to-day basis. They make these movies, and while someone could say they're being over the top, I think that's kind of the point. They're showing that this was a different time period. They're showing that, yes, these movies are kind of cheesy when you look back on them, but they're still profound, and there's something to remember, and I think they emphasize that really well here, and I like the different kinds of movies we got. Sometimes I did think this movie got a way too wacky, definitely got way too wacky, and very unrealistic at points, and I definitely, like I said, thought the ending was very abrupt, but for the most part, I really did enjoy the screenplay. The third act, I really do think ruins the movie a bit, but overall, I definitely really did enjoy it. The cinematography here is amazing. I mean, it's Roger Deakins. He just needs to, to be the cinematographer for every movie. He really does, because he does such a great job with attention to detail, and you look at what he did with Sicario, and then you look at this, and it's like, I don't know how this man does it, but he just creates the perfect environments for these movies. I mean, Sicario, he perfectly represented the dark tone of that movie, and here, he perfectly represents the glossy, world of this, and I think he did a very good job with that. It really looked amazing, and it felt like you were in that time period. That's something that's very important when it comes to this movie, is that you need to feel like you're in that time period, and that's definitely something I felt like here, is that I really did feel like I was in that time period. Definitely something I was definitely a fan of. So I really did love the cinematography. The score here was fantastic. I definitely really did love the score. Like I said, though, the editing I thought was very choppy at points. I thought there were some scenes that definitely could have gone on a lot longer. Definitely some scenes that I really did want to get into, but I don't really think they did much with them. And some of the characters I thought were very underutilized, and they really could have done more with. Here's what I'm going to say. I think the Coen brothers had some really good ideas, and I think they did a very good job what they did. It's just the third half, I think they realized, holy shit, we need to make this movie, and we need to get this out very quickly, so let's just quickly write an ending for everyone, and they didn't really think about tying up some loose ends, because, like I said, in this movie, when characters are no longer of service to Eddie Mannix, they kind of just go away, and it really didn't work for me. I really wanted to see more of these characters, and like, characters like Alden and Ehrenreich definitely got more than, say, like, ScarJo, but still, his character just goes away. He doesn't really have an ending. None of these characters have an ending except for Eddie Mannix, and that's something I was definitely very disappointed by, and I think definitely did ruin the movie a bit. Also, the movie has completely pointless narration. I don't know what the point of the narration was. I don't know why it's there. You do not need to explain this movie to me. You really don't. And I feel it's one of the reasons why I didn't really get the message of this movie. Cut the narration out. I feel like the message of this movie would have been a lot more clear, because the narration at points is very confusing as to what he's actually talking about. It just didn't really work for me. But overall, guys, I really enjoyed Hail Caesar. I think it's a much better movie than anything else that's come out this year. Definitely the best movie I've seen so far this year. And without a doubt, I'm definitely going to give Hail Caesar a 4 to 5 or a B+. Like I said, I definitely do feel it's a lot deeper. It definitely has a deeper meaning than what I thought, but I just don't know what that is yet. I haven't seen that deeper meaning. I don't really know what the deeper meaning is yet. And when I find out, I definitely think I will revisit it. And I'll probably do what I did with Berman. I'll do a second look on Hail Caesar if you guys want me to do that. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys thought of Hail Caesar. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm very happy I saw it. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another movie review. And I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.